sponsors and how to get them. If you have a YouTube channel or social media, or you're thinking about getting involved in it, hopefully it's because you're passionate about something and you want to share it with the world and leave something behind. At least that's my main reason for getting into it. But I think at least part of the appeal for everyone who gets involved in YouTube and social media is that you want to earn money or to get stuff. And getting sponsored is probably the best way to achieve that. Now, I don't think I've mentioned it before, but my real life job is in sales, and I've been doing it for 11 years, and I've been successful at it, and I've been able to take that experience and apply it to my channel and build some partnerships with some awesome companies. So today I'm going to share with you what I believe is the right way to gain sponsors. I'm going to give you some general guidelines as well as some specific examples of how I was able to partner with some of my favorite companies. Now, the first thing you need to do before you even think about getting sponsored is to establish some credibility. And I'm going to form all of my examples in this video around fishing because that's what I do, but this really applies to any other industry or any other type of content that you might want to get involved in. If you are a well-known professional tournament angler or fishing guide, then you already have some established credibility. But for the other 99.9% of us, you're going to have to establish that you know what you're talking about and you know how to catch fish. I'm not saying that you have to be a professional tournament angler or the best angler in the world, but if you're not good at fishing, it's not a big deal. Just focus on building your skills and knowledge as an angler and then demonstrate that through your videos and your social media channels to establish that credibility. All right, let's fast forward. You are now a good fisherman. Yes, I'm talking to you. Good job, bro. And you've established your credibility by posting videos of you skillfully catching a ton of fish, and it's time to set your target sponsors. And you should only target sponsors that make products that you already use and love. Once you've picked out those companies that you want to partner with, the first thing you need to do in order to get sponsored is to start acting like you already are. And that doesn't mean to start pretending that you're sponsored or telling people that you're sponsored. It means that you need to start promoting those products and promoting that brand right away for free. You can promote for your target sponsor by using their products in your videos or doing reviews or tutorials, but you're not reaching out to the company at this point. You're just promoting. What you're aiming for through this process is to build a following and to create examples of your work to show how you can add value to that company. And your promotions need to perform well statistically, and if they're not, that is your new focus. You need to improve your content and make sure that your promotions are of high quality. And once you have established your credibility and created some clear examples of your promotional capabilities, it's time to reach out. When you reach out to a company, there are really two types of deals that you can seek to obtain. There are transactional deals, which are your one-off deals. They are short-term. There's usually a finite set of responsibilities or promotions in exchange for a product. And in some cases, these types of deals can be stepping stones working toward the other type of deal, which is a long-term partnership. And these types of deals differ from the transactional deals in that you provide promotional services indefinitely for a company in exchange for products or discount on products. And in the fishing world, and I assume other worlds, it's commonly referred to as being on the pro staff or promotional staff or serving as a brand ambassador for a company in the long term. Now, regardless of which type of deal you're after, whether that be a short-term transactional deal or a long-term partnership, when you reach out, you need to write up a business plan that clearly states how you can add value as a promoter in exchange for the product and provide some quantifiable data to support your plan. Now, when I send my business plan, I typically do that in email form for a couple of reasons. For starters, I can post a link to my channel and links to examples of my work to support my plan. And the second reason is because I have zero charisma. I'm not very good on the phone. I'm not great at talking to people, and I'm not good at talking to cameras. If you haven't noticed, there are a lot of cuts in videos that I do like this because I'm just not good at talking. My brain moves a lot faster than my mouth. It is what it is. But I have a solid general outline for how you can structure your pitch for both a transactional deal or a long-term partnership. I'm going to share that with you right now. If you're seeking a transactional deal, you want to first start with an introduction that just tells who you are and what you do. Next, you need to describe your plan or your vision. What is your video about and how does that product fit into it? After describing your plan or vision, you need to come up with a proposal. What is it that you're asking for and how will you promote it? And following your proposal, it is a good idea right here to share some successful examples of similar work that you have already done. And lastly, you should include a contingency plan. This is what you're going to do if your initial plan for promotion falls flat on its face. If you only get 100 views and they gave you a nice product, this is what you're going to do to make up for that. I believe that a contingency plan is key to rounding out a solid pitch because it eliminates risk in the mind of your target sponsor and it lets them know that if your promotion does fall flat, you're going to continue working to make sure that you earn that product. And there have been multiple times now that I've had to fall back on that contingency plan, and in some cases those contingency plans have been my most successful promotions, and those have really helped to build trust with my sponsors as well and show them that I follow through on my plans and make sure that I earn everything that they provide to me. All right. Now we have covered the general outline for how to structure a pitch for a transactional deal, and it's time to move on to a long-term partnership. First, you should check to see if your target sponsor already has a pro staff or brand ambassador program in place. If they do have one in place, you can typically find that on the company website, and it will generally communicate to you the requirements for becoming a pro staff member or brand ambassador, and it will have a form for you to fill out. And one thing I'll tell you while we're here is if you don't meet the requirements that are listed on the pro staff application, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't apply. You should still try. If the form has any kind of general comment section, you should definitely structure some type of pitch that describes how you can add value, especially if you don't meet those requirements. Now, if the company website does not have a place where you can apply to be on the pro staff or apply to be a brand ambassador, I typically will send an email out to the company's general email with the following outline. Start with an introduction, once again, that just tells who you are and what you do. Next, tell them what you like about the company or brand. What are the products that they make that you use on a regular basis? How do you have success with them? That type of thing. Then you want to ask them about any opportunities to partner as a promoter or brand ambassador and add value to the company. And this part is crucial to this type of pitch. You are not asking them for a specific product or for a discount on anything. You're just asking them about their needs and how you can add value to their company. After asking that question, it's a good idea right here again to provide some examples of your promotional work that show how you can add value. And lastly, I will typically ask them, if it's not in the cards now, what steps can I take to work towards earning an opportunity? All right, that covers the general outline for my transactional deal pitches and my long-term partnership pitches, and I'm going to do something now that I haven't seen done in other videos about this topic. Down in the description of the video, I'm going to include links to actual examples of pitches that I have sent for both transactional and long-term partnership deals that led directly toward me gaining sponsors. I'm going to change the names of both the companies and the products, but these are the real emails that I sent. Now we've covered how to structure your pitches when reaching out to sponsors, and now I'm going to give you some general guidelines for obtaining and growing relationships with your sponsors. We touched on this briefly at the beginning, but the first guideline I'm going to give you is to only promote products that you already use and have success with. And I'm going to give you an example of a time that early in my fishing career I broke this rule and it cost me dearly. I'm not going to name the specific company or product, but I once came across a very unique looking lure and I thought it would look great on a thumbnail. It's so unique looking, it'll definitely get clicked. And based on the underwater footage I saw of the bait's action, I was confident that I was going to be able to catch some bass on this thing. So I reached out to the company with my proposal and they sent me about 3 times what I asked for, and I received the lures and I immediately went to work trying to catch some bass. And guys, these lures were a fish repellent. I have caught bass on blocks of wood, on blades of grass. I have caught them on cat toys, and I could not get a bass to eat these things. They just wouldn't eat them. There were multiple times where I thought, maybe the fish aren't here, or maybe they're just not going to eat anything, and I'd tie on a swim bait, chuck it out there, and catch a dozen bass. So they were there, they just would not touch this thing. I tried everything. I tried different trailers on the bait, I tried adding scent, I tried every type of retrieve you can possibly think of. I used the lightest leaders possible. There was just no way to make them eat this thing. It was a terrible, terrible lure, at least for me in my areas that I fish. So after wasting an estimated 60 hours trying to catch fish on these baits in places where I know there were fish present and not getting a single bite, I had to reach out to the company and tell them that I can't promote this product because I didn't have any success with it. I'm sorry. And then I offered to pay them for the baits that they sent me, even though they sent me 3 times what I asked for, and they refused because they knew how much work I had put in, but I just felt like a total dick. So that was the last time I offered to promote something that I didn't already use and have success with. The second guideline I'm going to give you is to only partner with companies whose values align with your own. You're probably not going to run into this a lot, but there are companies out there that have a less than stellar reputation, or they partner with other creators that have a less than stellar reputation, and that might not be something that you want to associate yourself with. I personally don't encounter a lot of shady companies or companies with a less than stellar reputation, but one of the main things that I look for in a partner is excellent customer service and an overall generally positive reputation in the industry. The last thing you want to do is to send your viewers to a less than stellar company where they're going to have a bad experience, and at the end of the day that's going to damage your reputation and the trust that you build with your audience. And speaking of bad reputations, I'm now going to segue into some things that you should avoid in your own content so as not to deter potential sponsors. You should avoid cursing, vulgarity, nudity, drugs, alcohol, politics, religion, and any other questionable content that might deter a potential sponsor. Now, there are some exceptions within that list. For example, if you are a devout Christian, you're a person of faith, you may want to target specifically sponsors that also share the same religious values that you have. In this specific case, your religion could actually be a powerful tool in helping you to partner with companies whose values align with your own. It's not at all about changing your values to attract sponsors. Just be true to yourself, be strong in your convictions, and you're going to find partners who appreciate that. Now, while we're on the topic of questionable content and things to avoid, I'm going to give you guys a really good example of something I had to change with my own channel. Those of you that have been around for a while know that my channel used to be called DTF Fishing. And DTF stood for down to fish, but DTF also has another meaning that is less than appropriate. And I never had any problems with my old channel name, but then one day I came across a company online that takes disabled kids out fishing, and I thought that would be really cool to partner with a company like that. And then it kind of dawned on me that that's not really a possibility for me because my name is DTF Fishing. Right then and there, I knew that I had to change my channel name in order to potentially partner with companies like this in the future. Alright, the next guideline I'm going to give you might be the most important of this entire video, and that is to always under-promise and over-deliver. Once you have pitched a plan to a sponsor and received a product, you now have an obligation to fulfill that promise, and you should always aim to over-deliver on the expectations that you set. It is imperative that you follow through on all of your promises and also communicate through the process so that your sponsor knows you are working to fulfill that obligation. This is how you build trust, it's how you grow a relationship and partnership with a company, and it's how you build a strong reputation in the industry. The next guideline I'm going to give you is another very important one, and that is to never take on more than you can handle. The more that your channel and your brand and your following grow, the easier it becomes to bring on new sponsors and to complete more transactional deals. But if you overload yourself with those sponsor obligations, it's going to be more and more difficult to balance them and to fulfill them. I like to keep a list of my sponsor obligations, and it is a very short list, and I won't take on new partners or new transactional deals until the ones that I am already obligated to complete have been completed. All right, the next guideline I'm going to give you is to find ways to promote for your partners outside of your obligations. There are multiple ways that you can do this, and one of the big ones is with your clothes and your gear. Anytime that you're in front of a camera and you fail to wear clothing or gear from a sponsor, you have missed a valuable opportunity to promote. Another way that you can do this is through your channel art, and you'll see if you take a look at my YouTube banner that there is a spot reserved on there for all of my long-term partners. A third way that you can promote for your sponsors outside of your obligations is by including links in all of your posts and videos. And what I like to do is use my link tree. So that way, if I pick up a new sponsor, I can add it to my link tree and it will retroactively add that link to all of my previous content. And a fourth way that you can easily promote for your sponsors outside of your obligations is by product placement and with stickers. You'll see behind me that I have a ton of products hanging up all over my room, all over my walls, and those are mostly from sponsors or target sponsors. And I also have stickers from sponsors all over my walls, all over a lot of my gear, all over my car, all over my microwave that I use for heating up my plastisol. They are just everywhere. I know I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you guys here in the guidelines section, but all of this stuff is very important. The next guideline I'm going to give you is to avoid product overlap or avoid partnering with direct competitors. Now there are certainly some exceptions to this. For example, I'm partnered with Fish USA. They are a general online tackle shop that I use to buy a lot of my gear and tackle. And they sell just about everything, including a pretty good selection of fly tying materials. But I'm also partnered with Caddis Fly Shop, who specifically only sells fly tying materials, tools, and fly fishing gear. So the Caddis Fly Shop is a specialty fly tying and fly fishing store and not a direct competitor with Fish USA, who also sells a wide variety of conventional tackle, apparel, gear, tools, everything else that you could need. They don't only sell fly tying materials. On the other hand, I'm partnered with Waterland Sunglasses, so I'm not going to go out and partner with Costa, who also specifically makes sunglasses. They are direct competitors. All right, the next guideline I'm going to give you is to never settle below your target sponsors just to get some free stuff. And I'll give you an example. I am not currently partnered with 6th Sense Fishing, but I use and promote their gear and their tackle in a lot of my videos. I have had a couple of opportunities thus far to partner with companies that were essentially a direct competitor with 6th Sense Fishing, and I passed up on them. It's no secret that I hope to eventually earn a partnership with 6th Sense Fishing, but even if I don't, I'm going to continue to promote and use their products because those are the products that I use, that I love, and that I have success with. It is much easier and much more honest to promote the products that you love to use regardless of whether or not you are sponsored. That is the only way that you're going to establish that extremely valuable trust with your audience and become a successful promoter. The next guideline I'm going to give you has to do with building and maintaining relationships with your sponsors, and that is to not ask for something every single time you reach out to your sponsor. A lot of times that I reach out to my contacts, I am just updating them on some promotions or asking them if there's anything that they need that I can help with, or just wishing them a Merry Christmas, for example. It's the holidays now, and I'll just send each one of them a quick note wishing them happy holidays. All right, the next guideline I'm going to give you is don't speak negatively about companies or products. If you don't like something, then don't use it and don't promote it. But don't speak negatively about companies or products because it's going to reflect poorly on you as a promoter. When sponsors take a look at your content and see you talking bad about other companies or products, it's just going to make you look bad. All right, the last piece of advice I'm going to give you is to not give up. There are definitely going to be times that you are ignored or rejected the first time, or maybe the first few times. And when that happens, don't get discouraged, and also don't be a pushy salesman and bombard them with sales pitches constantly. Instead, ask what steps you can take to work toward earning that opportunity. Go and continue to promote for them, work on the quality of your content and your fishing skills, and check in periodically, and eventually you'll earn that opportunity. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the video, and this isn't the end-all be-all masterclass of promoting and gaining sponsors, but based on my 2 years on YouTube and my 11 years in sales, this is how I do it, and I hope that you found it helpful. As a reminder, I will be putting links to real examples of my sales pitches down in the description of the video for you guys to check out. I'd also be happy to answer any questions that you might have in the comments, or you can shoot me a message. I believe in you, you can do it, and I hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you guys in the next one.